What's up? Welcome to the channel. This is gonna be the first reaction video I'm gonna do. So if y'all like this, please leave a thumbs up, like the video, share the video. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all want to see more of this type of stuff. All right. So we're gonna get right into it. Long story short, Joe Budden's podcast is going through some ish, and Rory and Mal both left. So he's fired him on air without him there. You know what I'm saying? So like it's all fishy, bro. The whole thing. I watched the whole. You can go watch. I'll leave the link in the description to the Rory and Mal response to everything or whatever, and then y'all can go check it out yourself, because like this whole thing making me feel like Joe really shady. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just pause it and react throughout the video. Every reaction that I do is not gonna be like this. It's just first case scenario. So we're just gonna see where we end up. All right, let's get it.
There is no legal action to take. I have complied. You just do not like it, and you're angered by it, and I get that. And you don't want to do this shit no more. It's fine. What is profit sharing, Joe? Do we want to have this conversation? I've been trying not to have that conversation, so I don't know if here is the place.
He tries not to have a lot of conversations, by the way, which is very interesting because legal shit. But at the same time, like if you would have had a conversation from the get-go, we wouldn't be in this mess right now, huh?
To have that conversation on Instagram. I know they said what they said, but it's not true. And I, as the business owner, can't get on the internet and just start talking about people's contracts. It's not professional. It's not professional. It don't send the right message to the future people that may want to work. You don't do that.
You don't do that because you don't want people knowing that you work in a shady manner, because otherwise you're gonna fail.
Yes, let's have it. You really ruined something good. So what? Get over it. So what? Get over it.
Ego. It's all ego right here, by the way. This is not being able to admit you're wrong, not being able to say you're sorry, not being able to say you messed up. If you could get past this, you might still have a podcast, bro.
Man, more podcasts. Go find one. Would you be open to sitting down with them again and trying to understand? We sat down a bunch, and I think I understand. And in watching the video, I understand even further. Those brothers they've been unhappy with the way shit has been running for a few years, it seems. And I was the last to know. But if you're unhappy, you should do something different. I'm not trying to be a dick. You shouldn't continue to be somewhere where you're not happy with the situation. I may have handled it wrong, but man, you can't do that.
He's literally pulling himself in the situation. From every single issue, he's withdrawing himself. He is not the problem. They're the problem. In their interview or whatever that they had, the podcast or whatever, they literally told this man. They went over this several times. This is not just the first time that he's finding out about this shit. You know, it's very fishy, man.
And you can't attack your man because you're mad at the situation. You can't do that. They are entitled to the books if they have a percentage-based contract. They're not entitled to the books if the contract says they're not entitled to the books, sir. I know that you are a living room attorney. I know that you got a lot of living room degrees, but there are words in contracts. Oh, man.
This man is literally laughing because he thinks that like he's smarter than everybody else. That's exactly what this is. I'm above you. So basically, everyone's a living room attorney, including you. You're not an attorney. What's wrong with you, boy? Dumbass little... Ooh, about to snap, boy.
You tried and you screamed like a kid. Well, yeah. Come on, let's talk. Let's talk. Rory says that he had a meeting with Elliot. Rory says that he had a meeting with Elliot to discuss title, and then he called and told me about it, and I screamed on him. He's absolutely right. I screamed on him. He was totally out of place. He should not have done that. I had already been having discussions with title. I named a number. They weren't the fondest of it. And here goes Rory to sit down and talk to Elliot, but he doesn't own it, and he doesn't know how much it's costing to run these things. and he don't know what type of money I'm gonna take.
So in his head, right, Rory sat down to make a business deal about the podcast, right? But in Rory's head, he just came onto the podcast. An opportunity may have arose, so he went back and talked to Joe about the opportunity. And Joe takes it as an insult, like, this is not yours. Why are you making business deals, right? But instead of seeing it as your friends trying to look out for you, you can say no. And then you snap, which a boss doesn't snap on their employees, by the way. You get fired for that. And then also a friend doesn't do that either. So you're neither? I'm very confused at this point.
So I 100% said to Rory, please do not do that again. Please do not be used as a pawn when people are trying to do their negotiating tricks. I've already spoken to them. I said a number. That's true. That's true. And when I came back to say, hey, we have a title deal, it's because Hove called. Not because you sat with Elliot. It's because the highest person in the food chain called and said, this is how I feel, present it to your guys. So that's what I did. And you guys wanted to take that title deal.
The Hove call, by the way, from my understanding of the situation, is literally after, right? It's after Rory had this meeting with Elliot and found out about this whole deal and stuff and proposed it. So he went and proposed it, and then he says no, and it comes back with a title deal. And it's just keep listening.
That title deal was for $40,000 a month. $40,000 a month is what that deal was for, with no information being given. Y'all wanted to take it. I said no. We should not take it. We didn't take it. That was smart. Sorry.
That probably was a smart move, but the way you handled it is arrogant, and you're being arrogant right now, like this very moment, bro. You can't see past your own facade, bro. You think that you're fucking like the top dog, the king of the world, the alpha male, but really all people want is communication, bro. Golly.
That just makes sense. I'm sorry that he didn't understand that.
I'm sorry that you didn't understand it. It's your fault. It has nothing to do with me. That's what he's saying right now.
But it made sense. Did Hove offer the same number? It's never about the number, you guys. It's always about the terms. Yeah, you should have said no to the 40 ball. Philly, of course I should have said no to the 40 ball. 40 grand a month for the hottest podcast in the world? We all hold injures, but that's not how we going to do business. I'm sorry that he took that as me barking on him and little broing him and dismissing him and gaslighting him. It was just running business.
This is why you don't get into business with family or friends, really. Like, this is exactly why. When they say don't do business with family, this is it. This is the reason why. Because when everything goes south and everything goes wrong, they're never going to call you and come to your house and explain shit and go through the paperwork and try to get an understanding. They're just going to be like, this is just business. This is just business. Because he's out for himself, so he doesn't care about the damage that he's really doing to his friendship. Because it doesn't matter. These are just two other people. And that's just the reason why, like, when they left the podcast, well, when he told them not to come to the podcast, whenever they left the podcast or whatever the case may be, he got two other guys the next day. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is just interesting.
If they run fast, what you got in that cup? You should just pod alone. I'm not going to pod alone. I'm going to pod with the people that want to pod, that are happy with podding with me, that are happy with the way business is being ran with the pod. So you think Elliot thinks Rory is a pawn? No, I don't think that. That's just normal business practice. If you have something that I want to be a part of and we're negotiating, and I come meet with you and you say one thing, maybe I'll try to meet with somebody else and get some more information.
That's just normal business practice, right? So Rory calls you with a deal, right? You snap on him about it because it's not his podcast. He shouldn't be discussing deals without your knowledge, whatever the fuck that means. And then you go and do the same thing to them, literally right after that, and didn't even give them an option, really. I mean, you just took the fucking deal. But then now it's just normal business practice because you're doing it. But when they did it, Roy did it, it wasn't normal business practice.
That's very normal. Elliot is the guy, man. You kidding me? Elliot is amazing. I just didn't want to send any false impression. He said you went off because he brought it up. Well, yeah, I went off because you were out of line and out of place. And you had no business meeting with Elliot and me finding out as the owner after the fact. That is wrong. We're running a business. Clearly should communicate those situations in real time. I thought I did. That's the problem. Joe, no one wants to hear Parks as much as he be talking. Well, it's his house, it's his equipment, it's his audio. He talks. He has opinions, he has feelings. Mal said he had more money than you. What you want me to do, man? Who cares? Keep the guests coming. You can't say it's about money when they willingly gave up their Patreon checks. Let's address that. Our Patreon deal started in February. Or my Patreon deal started in February. Let's talk about it. Our Spotify deal ended in September and was on the rocks that whole year. We have an entire team and staff and bills and balances that needed to be paid for the whole 3 years. Why would either one of them think that in February giving up a check from y'all is helping anything? I'm the network. I'm not asking the people that work for the company to give up their check for the people that work for the company.
Look at his face. He's such a greedy person that like he can't even understand, he can't even fathom somebody just doing a good deed. No one said literally at all that Joe was telling somebody to give up their check for other people. They did it out the kindness of their heart. Like literally they were just like, you know what? Let's just do this amongst themselves. Let's just give up our first Patreon check, or even second, that came up too, giving up their first two to help the team so people could eat. They gotta eat too. Like he's saying, everything costs money, everything's expensive. It comes down to it adds up to a lot, right? So they decided that they wanted to help out the team and spread the money around, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't really need it at that moment, right? And instead of him understanding that simple thing, very simple thing, it doesn't mean it's gonna help them for life, but for the moment, it's a little relief. It's a bonus, it feels good. Instead of him just understanding that, he's turning it still, once again, into himself, bro. This is wild.
Was gonna do that. You should have been doing that.
You should have been giving up your checks. This is wild, bro. This man just said that for real.
Now's not the time, and that's not your place. It's my responsibility to make sure everybody gets paid here, including you gentlemen. It's not y'all's responsibility to relinquish a check for people that are receiving a check. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. Does Parks get a raise now? Everybody gets a raise now. Everybody gets a raise. Come on, what else y'all got? Come on.
Everybody gets a raise because the two guys he brought on are getting paid half of what one of them were making. So let's just say Mal, right? They're getting paid both together half of what Mal was making. That's why everybody gets a raise.
Come on, where are the living room attorneys? That's nasty. Imagine trying to sell the franchise of the place. They say they don't work for you. Let's address it. Let's get to that right there, because I think that's a real big problem in the ego and the pride and the male emotions and the male communication and shit like that. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. No, I'm not back on any pills. That's a hurtful thing to say.
That so far is the most humble, real thing he said. Right? He said, let's address it. You sound like you about to get into some drama and say some bullshit about himself again. But maybe they don't. And then that's kind of how you should have addressed this whole situation, bro. With an open mind.
To someone that has struggled with a pill addiction. Now, let's talk about that. They don't work for you. This is the wording in the contract. This is the wording in the contract, and they'll have to go speak to their attorneys about this. Or no, this is not the wording in the contract, because you're not going to catch me like that, where you're suing me because I'm divulging personal information. This is what the contract says. It doesn't say that they are profit participants of the podcast. These are facts, living room lawyers. It doesn't say that they're profit participants of the podcast. And I think that's what they may have thought. I don't know. But watching their video, I still don't think they know what the contract says. But it says something to the effect of they make money off of my podcast earnings net. That's very different. It's very different. It's a very different statement, sentiment. It may be tough for some people to understand, but those words are very, very different. The end. It's not for me to explain further. If there's any issues, get with people that you trust. Not your friend.
Do I even have to say anything? I don't even think I have to say anything for that one.
Oh, it's not difficult to understand? I thought it was difficult to understand. You make a percentage of what I net from this work operation. And after the Spotify deal, I quickly learned.
My boy literally just repeated the same exact thing with no explanation. There was no details behind that. You didn't explain it any differently, bro. You said the same exact thing. Fucking douche.
That I was all wrong. I ain't never had no money, so I was all wrong in what it costs to run a business. I was wrong. It was bad. It was bad, y'all. It was costing me a lot more. It was expensive. So I went and I took my money from everywhere and I ran the business. My Revolt money, my pull-up money, my Love and Hip Hop money, YouTube money, any money. Any money I had, I came back and put it all in the business. Because if I didn't do that, niggas might be making $30,000 and $40,000.
See, and once again, we're just back at the accounting, right? Bro, they're your friends. They literally said throughout their entire podcast, they didn't even care about the money. They were willing to give their first Patreon checks to other people to help them out, right? That work with them, and just so they can get a little relief, right? Literally, all you had to do, my guy, all you had to do is just schedule one business meeting with you, them, their accountant, your accountant, squash it all. It would have took 15 minutes, bro. Hey, look, these numbers are this, this, and this. They break down like this, this, and this. And now we can move forward. Is everybody cool? Are we good? Are we on the same page? Just so y'all know where this is going. There was a discrepancy for like 400K, right? That could have been anything. He mentioned earlier talking about he's got a plan to pay 3 years out, right? Maybe that's just his business strategy, right? So let's say that is real, that's authentic, right? So that could have easily been explained. $400,000 expense, blah 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 blah. So these guys are they are literally on contract to get paid a percentage of the guy's podcast, Joe's podcast. So if you're percentage based, it's not unreasonable to know the exact amount that's coming in, so you know that the amount that you are supposed to be getting paid. It's not salary. You're not getting paid a certain amount. If it was, they wouldn't have anything to worry about, because they would get $40K a year no matter what. But it's not like that. You're percentage based. So if he's bringing in, I doubt it, but 10 million a year, like their cut could be $1 million. Instead, they're probably bringing home like 100K.
Based on a contract. That ain't the friendly thing to do. Watch your niggas make 40, and that's nasty. So I never honored it. I never looked at it. I always just went above and beyond. And that's that. But I don't think they...
If that's true, if that was true, you would sit them down and show them one time. Just show them once in the span of however many years the podcast went on, bro. I know the dilemma was happening for like 2 years or something like that. So literally, if you would have just said that with them one time and showed them, they would have felt like shit. And then they would be like, my bad, man. I'm sorry. Yo, thank you so much, man, for what you're doing. I appreciate it. And it would have been squashed. You would have felt like a hero. They would have pet your ego a little bit. And instead, look at you acting like a little bitch, bro.
They knew that. And that's where we stand in the fight. That's why the therapist said, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe she's right. They don't know that I'm going above and beyond. They don't know I'm taking money from all over the place to make...
Why don't they know? Because you ain't saying nothing.
Sure everybody's okay. They don't know. They don't know. They're right. They don't know. But you can't look up twice a year and expect to know. That's really just the bottom line.
If they know that they're gonna meet with an argument every single time they address this problem with you, and they love doing the podcast, like, I'm putting myself in their shoes, right? If I enjoy doing something, you know, and it's not really about the money for me, but I feel like my boy's lying to me or some shit like that, I might tough it out for a little bit longer, because I enjoy doing this thing with you. It's like Mal said it. Mal was saying that, like, they're literally getting paid to sit down as homeboys and have talks and conversations and shit like that. So, like, yeah, if you sitting down and you enjoying your fucking time, right? Sorry, I just noticed the first comment up top. You ain't gotta lie, Craig. It's true, bro. He's fucking lying through his teeth. Anybody can see this shit, bro. Anyway, enough said. Continue the video.
And that's where the fight came from. The podcast don't have a deal anywhere. There's no deal.
Look at the comments. 425K mistake. I would be suspect too. Stop it. Big facts. Big facts. If you were in their shoes, you would be sus too. Stop it, bro. Know this man lying.
That's what I said to these brothers privately. There's no deal. There is no deal. We don't have a deal. We left Spotify. There is no deal. They could be in my pockets. It's clear. It's clear. We can talk. There is no deal. That's not a secret. There's no deal. That's it. $400,000 mistake just goes to all of the things that they thought was wrong with accounting that wasn't wrong. The $400,000 mistake that's how Spotify paid out 1 year. They gave you an advance up front, or part of the money up front. And as the business owner, you have to prorate it through the year or through the 2 years. And that's what happened. And they got the accounting and saw this big $400,000 number and said, what's this? What's this? You lying, you stealing, how do you make this? I said, fam, we can't do this. We can't do this if y'all don't understand what this says.
And it probably went just like that. He probably literally said that. We can't do that. By the way, I don't know if anybody's been in a relationship, but you act like that, that's not going to solve anything. But we can't do this. Who you texting? We can't do this. We can't do this. Like, bro, why you being so dismissive, bro? And instead, he could be like, listen, let me break it down like this. Maybe they don't know. This is their first podcast, by the way. They both admit that. This is their first time in this business area, right? They've done other things in other places. But so if this is their first time doing this, they're not really sure how all this stuff works. They're not sure how these deals work with companies wanting you to advertise their shit, and then they give you a base pay. They don't know that that's supposed to stretch throughout the contract. That's what you get paid for the entire contract. Or maybe this is the pay for this period, and then there's like quarterly or whatever. They don't know this shit, bro. It would have took you 45 seconds to sit down and be like, hey, look, that's what this is. This is what this is. It's like, come on, bro, man. Put your ego to the side, bro, man. Be a man. Be a friend at this point, bro. Be a fucking boss at this point. Be anything other than what you're doing. Arrogant fuck.
We can't do it. But you got a Patreon deal. Yeah. Me.
Bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. Everyone has seen somebody make that fucking face before, bro. And it just makes you want to pop them in this shit. Yeah. Me? Like, that's always somebody who's wrong, bro. My guy looks like a fucking Karen right now. A Carlito.
Y'all still rich, you bugging. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that's where I went wrong when you're working with friends. I was thinking, all right, I see what's going on. As long as everybody has a way to be a millionaire or a path to be a millionaire. That's what the fight is for with these companies. Just a path to be able to share in the benefits of what you built. You are not making sense. No, you just...
Nobody's saying that. I get that. Like, look, he's just trying to put money in his boys' pockets, whatever that means. He's trying to say, like, I'm just trying to fill my boys' pockets so they can be millionaires one day or whatever, or get them up there, whatever. And I'm sure they were making more than enough money to get there eventually. But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, like, this is the way to break it down, right? Let's say you make 10 million for the year or for the contract, 2 years. You make 10 million, it's 5 mil a year, right? So the way that I'm just making up numbers, but let's just say that they were both making 150K a piece. That's $300,000, bro. So where's the rest going? Sure, that's a lot of money for a fucking podcast, right? And we can even lower the number if we want, but like, you get the point. In their mind, if you're bringing in 5 mil a year, right? And I'm only getting 150, he only getting 150. Where's the rest of this money going? You don't need that much to run a podcast. You know what I'm saying? He's putting in money from his own pocket and shit like that to pay people's wages and stuff like that. That's what he's saying, from Love and Hip Hop, all this other stuff. So if you're really doing that, like, just sit them down and talk to them and explain it so that they understand, so we don't got to go through this, so that the whole podcast don't have to get split up. You see what I'm saying? But instead, you let your arrogance get the best of you. I don't maybe lose so much respect for Joe, bro.
Just stupid, nigga. This makes all the sense in the world. It's very simple. It's not tough to understand.
You're not giving details of anything, bro. You're literally saying blank statements. Literally.
You never talk to them like that. I've had 90 million talks with these gentlemen like this. They just don't like it. They don't like it, but they won't step to the lawyer that negotiated it, that is still representing them both. They rather just attack me. But I'll take it. I love those guys. Fuck it. All relationships don't last. But everybody gotta eat. You said no, it isn't. You drag them to the deaths publicly and say you love them. Well, yeah. Yeah, I went through something. I had a tough day. Sorry. I've been making my mistakes publicly since I was 20 years old. Sorry that you just got here. You just got to the internet.
We're gonna end it right here. Literally. It could go on forever. It's probably like 4 more minutes left of this shit. But even now, my guy's still denying he had anything wrong. He's saying, oh, well, I've always been like this, so it's okay. My boy, get a hold of yourself. You like 50, boy. Like, at this point, you should be able to conduct yourself, bro, properly, and at least be a good friend, my G. Like, be a good friend, be a good business partner, bro. This is sleazy, bro. Changed my whole image of you. And not that it fucking matters, but hey, if you did like this, please like. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more reactions. You want to see me check out some interviews, you know, whatever. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Holla at your boy. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks.